curiouser and curiouser. It seems like today we're falling down the rabbit hole. Hello and welcome back to my channel. It's time to book ramble. You know, the show where you sit here and ramble on about books. I'm actually supposed to leave in an hour to go meet my friend, but I felt like I really want to make this video now because it's such nice weather outside. Oh, it's not that nice. It's snowing, like damn. But it's very nice lighting today, so I thought, why not? And I'm already dressed up, having nice clothing on, so I decided I'm gonna make this video right now. At least try to make it. Oh boy. If you haven't guessed from the little intro I just made, today we're gonna talk about Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. Alice's Adventures in Wonderland are made by Lewis Carroll, and it's a very famous book. It's known for all around the world. And many children read this book as a child. I personally didn't, because I don't know why. I did watch the Disney version though, but I did not really like it. Alice's Adventures in Wonderland are also a book that many people and creators has made different adaptations of, their own versions of. And to be honest, I'm guilty of that. I have made it. I'm coming back to my version of it later on. The story is very well known. It's a story about Alice who comes to the wonderful land of Wonderland, where she meets very peculiar creatures and people, and it's quite a scary world actually. Like damn, the people there aren't nice. She walks around this world trying to find her way back home. That's basically it. If we're gonna talk about the book, we're going to talk a little bit about the author, which is Lewis Carroll. I need to mention that his real name was Charles Dudgeon. The book was released 1865. The funny thing with this story is that he made it up when he was out on a picnic with his neighborhood children. There were 3 sisters. One of the sisters' names were Alice, and therefore he made up a story about Alice who goes into this land of Wonderland. It's a really so. The book was written by Lewis Carroll in 1865. Something that needs to mention is that his real name is Charles Dudgeon. He came up with this story of Alice in Wonderland when he was having a picnic with neighborhood children. There are 3 sisters, and one of them was called Alice. When they had this picnic, Alice nagged on Charles to actually tell him a story. And that's when he figured out the story about the little girl Alice who gets bored by her sister's reading and follows a rabbit with clothes on as well, a white rabbit. And she follows this rabbit down the rabbit hole and then falls to Wonderland. She also has made other books as well, and I read a little bit about them. And they're all very weird and peculiar. I think that his stories are made for children because he had such a childlike mind himself. So I think these stories are very weird, but it's kind of weird that children would come up with, and that's why I'm very interested in these books. I really like them, to be honest, because I'm quite a big fan myself. I feel like I need to mention something, and that is that Lewis Carroll probably had a very unhealthy desire for children. Now, this is not something we can 100% be sure of, but we cannot deny the science either. I don't want to talk about this too much because I personally like to separate an author or a creator's work from them. They are 2 different things. I can like a creator's work. I do not need to like the creator. If you don't agree with me and you're still gonna hate a work for the creator, I don't give a damn. You can do whatever you want, but I won't. That's just how it is. Let's go back to the book itself. I personally did not read these books as a child. I did watch the Disney movie, as I said before. However, I did not like it. And even today when I read the books, both in English and Swedish, I still don't like the Disney version. I think it's just doesn't capture Alice in Wonderland that well. I don't know what it is, but it's just weird in the wrong way. So now when we're coming into different adaptations of the book, I'm going to mention that I myself did a version of it in high school, my last year of high school. In Sweden, you usually have to do a last project in high school. That's going to be a graduation project to determine if you're going to graduate or not. And I did my own version of Alice in Wonderland. It is the first time I actually read the books, actually. So I borrowed the book from the library. It wasn't Swedish, but it worked. So my version is very dark and twisted, and I got a lot of inspiration from American McGee's Alice and Alice Madness Returns, which are two games that are really, really dark adaptations of Alice in Wonderland. I do love those games. I'm a dark, twisted person myself. Call me cliche, I don't give a damn. But I just love those kind of things. A little bit emo, as you can see. I decided to make my own dark version of Alice in Wonderland that's called Alice in Underground. Yeah, no, play on words there. However, I'm not gonna talk too much about the plot in that story, because I maybe want to do something more with that work later on in my life, and I don't want anyone to take it from me. Gosh, my face is so light! So the first time I read the English version of the book were when I bought my own copy of the book as a graduation gift to myself, because I usually get money from my relatives and parents because they usually don't know what I like, so I usually go and buy my own stuff. I don't mind that. I can save the money, I can buy whatever I like. When I say the Alice books, there's two books with Alice in Wonderland, and it's Alice Adventures in Wonderland, and then it's Alice Through the Looking Glass. And my books that I have contains both of them. They're really good and I really like them. They are the kind of weird that I like. I think it brings out the child in me, and that's what I really love with these books. And it's a kind of imagination that only a child can make up, and that's what fascinates me with Lewis Carroll and the books. Because it is like a child made up these stories. The weird kind of dreamy, cannot control anything stories. I just love that kind of weird stuff. These books are one of my favorite of all time. One of my favorite, as a reader you can't really pick one book to be a favorite, but it is one of my favorite books of all time. And some people think that's ridiculous, but I don't care. It's a kind of weird imaginative tales that I really enjoy reading, so I'm gonna still have it as a favorite. So I hope you enjoyed this little book ramble. This time I actually made a script for it, and that's why maybe I've been looking down a bit too much. But the thing is, I didn't want to be as messy as the last video I made. Sorry, I'm probably gonna redo that video sometimes. I don't even think anyone has watched it, so I'm gonna delete it and redo it, because that book is also awesome. So I hope to see you next time. If I ever make anything else, we'll see. Keep on reading, folks.